I remember hearing this scream. It was so shrill, and I recognized it as my own voice. And I didn't know what was chasing me, but I knew that I had to run as fast as I could, and I ran down this alleyway, and it was so dark I can barely see my hand in front of my face. But finally I made it to my house, and I ran up, I started screaming, and I could hear my mom screaming for me, and she was saying, "Lisa, Lisa," and I thought she was gonna say, "I'm gonna help you," but she didn't. She said, "Wake up, wake up." It had been a dream. But it was one of the most real dreams I had ever experienced, and for a week straight, I did not sleep. And I remember every night my mom would come into my room and she would say, "Lisa, there's nothing to be afraid of here. It was just a dream. It wasn't real. It was all in your head." And that is the same way that it is with so many fears in our lives. The reality of the situation is they can't really harm us. It's all in our head. I used to love to go on night hikes because it was so interesting to me to be able to see everything from a certain perspective where it looks so big, but you'd climb to the top of this mountain and you'd look down and you'd realize, wow, how small everything really was by just changing your perspective into a higher perspective. And it's the same way with life. Sometimes when we're looking at our fears, you're looking around and they look so big and in your face, but all you have to do is climb up to a little bit higher perspective, and all of a sudden those fears don't seem so big and scary anymore. Because in the same way that my nightmare was causing me fear, even though there was nothing to be afraid of, there are so many things in our life that cause us fear when there is nothing to be afraid of. My brother used to always make fun of me because I grew up, like most girls, petrified of spiders. And I knew that a daddy longleg a black widow could kill me, so I assumed that a daddy longleg and all the other ones in my room could too. My brother informed me that the daddy longlegs fangs actually were not capable of penetrating my skin. In fact, there was no real danger to me at all. How much would it change your life if you really believed and understood that the things that you're so afraid of couldn't actually cause you harm? Because see, in the same way that your God created you with a thick enough skin that a spider's fangs, or at least a daddy longlegs, couldn't penetrate it, He's also created you with a strong enough spirit that the enemy fangs can't penetrate it. See, the spirit that lives in you is the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead. It's the very nature of God, His Holy Spirit, that resides in you. And it says that that spirit has overcome the world. I remember hearing a funny analogy from a pastor. It's like, Satan can lie to you and he can make you afraid, but he can't actually harm you. All he can do is try to gum you to death because Christ has already removed his fangs. See, sometimes we walk up into circumstances in life and it looks like it's impossible. We come up against, say, a Red Sea, and there's an enemy behind us, and it looks like there's nowhere to run, and we fear. But if our God was capable of creating new kinds of solutions, He was able to part that sea and let them walk across on dry land. He can create solutions in your life and in your problems that you couldn't fathom or imagine. So I want to challenge you guys today that when you feel afraid, to remember who your God is and the spirit that He's placed inside of you, and remember that whatever that thing that you're fearing can actually do you no harm. If God is for you, who can be against you? God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be terrified, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Psalms 118, 6 through 7, the Lord is with me, I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? The Lord is with me, He is my helper. And I am convinced that nothing can ever separate us from the love of God. Neither death nor life, nor angels nor principalities, neither our fears for today or our worries about tomorrow, not even the powers of hell can separate us from God's love.